Do you know who I am? I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal. People know me.
Listen, big deal. You got another problem. Women always figure out the truth. Always.
This is so nuts. I mean, listen to what you're saying. It's paranoid delusion. It's really sad. It's pathetic.
Am I? Or am I so sane that you just blew your mind?
That is the weirdest thing you have ever said.
It's the Al Travis Show, and we're so lucky to have this next guest on. I just love having him on. He's Don Shelby. Don, how are you today, sir?
I'm great. How are you, Al? Great to see you this morning.
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. I mean, you did radio for a long time on The Good Neighbor, right? How many years did you did that? Do you remember?
I did 10 on The Good Neighbor, but
Oh,
I
wow.
started out in radio, so I probably have 35 years somewhere in my pocket.
So you kind of get the idea. You get a Sunday or this weekend like we had, the Gophers win, the Wolves win, your Vikings win. You're coming up on a Monday. It's like, yeah, plenty of good stuff. Everything's going to be positive. Then I got Don Shelby coming on. This is a good day for me. This is a very good day for me. You just know it's going to happen. You know what I'm talking about, though? There are some days you go to work, it's like, oh, man, what is it I'm going to have to find that we can talk about? That isn't a problem today.
No, today is one of those days that meets all the qualities of a good day. And I have personally many of those. Professionally, it's very hard to judge what is a good day and what is a bad day. For instance, if you are a genuine journalist and you come into work and you find there's no news, that's a bad day, right?
Yo,
Wouldn't that be a bad day, right?
Well, you got to go out and dig, right? You're just like, you got to fill that 30 minutes of primetime TV and make it seem like something. That's tough.
But if you come into work and you find out that a warehouse has exploded and killed 19 people, is that a good day?
No.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see what a crazy mind you develop as a journalist that where you are a daily worker.
Yep.
So if you were a sanitation worker and you came out and nobody had their garbage cans out, what do you do? Not go to work?
Yeah.
Do you tell people that at the office nobody had their stuff out? Well, you're not getting paid. Didn't do any work.
Yeah.
So then we also have what we call B matter that we put in our back pockets that say the good news stories.
Yeah.
The lost dog that was returned home.
Yeah.
And those are good. Those are valuable stories. But at the same time, it doesn't advance our understanding of the dilemma in which we find ourselves on a daily basis through the years. So it feels like cheating somehow when you tell a good story, though I love to tell them. I love doing feature work.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is so interesting that you brought this up, because this is how I saw this going today. I want to talk about your family first, get to know Don, and then I wanted to get to this idea of how long you've been doing the news. And I don't mean this, you're not taking, what you just said was not, oh, pity me for having to give the terrible story. It's what I do, and I do it well. But here's what I wanted to ask you today. So you've been doing major news, doing this, well, before 1980. When did you start in the Twin Cities?
I started in 1978, but I started in 1965. So 60 years.
Okay, so this is where I'm coming from this, because, and again, this is not me complaining, but I think I pay a little more attention than your average duck to what's going on in the news, right? Because you got to fill the 3 hours every day, so you're kind of paying attention to the least little bit thing.
Oh, yeah.
You've been doing this since 78. And here's my question for you. With the
65.
Yeah. Since 65, has Don Shelby honestly seen a crazier year politically than 2025? With just the split legislature, the fact that the Republicans or the Democrats didn't come in for 6 weeks, that the Supreme Court had to be involved like 4 different times. What's a quorum? What's a quorum? And then they get done, and then there's a special session. Then we have literally legislators shot. This whole year, I don't think I've ever remembered anything like it. Do you?
No, and I think if you go back in history of the press in this country and in countries that existed before this one that had a version of the press, not the free press necessarily, but I don't believe we would find historically any markers that would compare to what we've just seen.
I seen that, and that's where I'm at. And then what I want to ask you then, and then you throw in on top, let's say the scandals with fraud and waste and all the rest. This is nonstop. Every day there's something. Again, back to it makes it easier for me. But on the other hand, it's kind of hard to keep your head up. Does Don Shelby think this is the start of a new day? Or are we just rolling downhill now, and can this ball be stopped? Or where do you? And I'm not asking politically left, right, or indifferent. Just where we are at as Minnesotans. I'll throw this at you. I'll bet you in '65 we still had the highest taxes in Minnesota. But what I remember that is, just getting there. But we lived in utopia. People wanted to come here. You'd pay a little more, but life was good. You had extra stuff. Schools were great. Does Minnesota still hold that charm?
I think so. I think it somewhat as a beacon, though the records seem to disagree with some of the other opinions that are out there. That we still are, even the independent Republicans, the IR, the Republicans, and the DFL, the Democrats, the liberals, and the conservatives tend to agree on the larger issues. In this state, we nibble around the edges of things. There is no one from either party standing athwart of the good ideas of the other party. And there has been compromise. There is always discussion. That was one of the things that people talked about at Melissa's funeral was that she was always open to hearing what the other side said. And I have lots of friends on the conservative side who said that, but I would also say that of them, and I know Melissa would have said that of them, that they were colleagues and they carried good ideas or they would not have been elected and would not stay elected, I should say, keep being returned to the State House. And I think we do have that in this state. And I think we are a model for the nation. There are people in other states who are going, I wish we were more like Minnesota.
Okay. Okay. Because I guess what bothered me, especially about the Hortman and the Hoffman shooting, is how everybody said the right things for about a week. And then it seemed like we're right back where we were. And I got to go back, when Reagan was shot, well, this is horrible. Everybody agreed it was horrible. And it takes about a week to get the players back on the board, and all of a sudden they're doing their thing again. Did you get that feeling? I thought this Hortman shooting would have really changed the dynamics of how all politicians talk in Minnesota, and I don't know if 3 months later we're not right back in the same
I don't I think you're right to have hoped that and looked forward to that conclusion, but at the same time I don't think politicians change their stripes very often. And let's go back to the work scenario, that if you are in charge of half of the coalition that runs the state and the other person is in charge of half, you do a grief thing and you spend as much time as you can and you take that to heart and you believe it and you say the proper words that you say when you are grief-stricken or the community is grief-stricken or frightened or shocked, and you say all of these proper words. But then the business, you have to pick up the garbage cans. You have to go back to work. You can be J.J. McCarthy. You can be injured and you can be out and questionable, and you put Carson Wentz in, and you're not making headway. You're not playing as well as you should play. And then and that period of healing is over, and then you get back on the field.
Let me ask you this if I can. Did you watch the Rick Cabcella's Perception of the State or whatever?
Yeah.
That hour-long thing.
Yeah.
Is that, I don't want to put this, I watched it, enjoyed it. I don't know about that. A lot of statistics you got to hang in there. But a news guy coming out and then doing something like that, can I expect a Don Shelby to do the positive version of that? What you were just saying is that you think this state is still the beacon. Can we get an hour out of Don Shelby to do something like that and showcase the positivity that could be coming out of Minnesota?
No.
Boy,
Never. I love Rick, and we've been friends for a long time. I worked for Rick. When I retired, we did Bring Me the News together. Okay. But I know what, and always knew what Rick's political leanings were, and I don't hold. I try not to hold public opinions, because I think opinions. I'll tell you that you might appreciate this. I was out of office, so to speak. I had retired, and I gave a speech, and I said, "Do you know," to the audience, "do you know the thing that I hate the most about having done my job for by then 50 years?" And nobody knew. They guessed, and they were wrong. And I said, and now I'm going to tell you what the thing I hate most is. The thing I hate second most in all of my career. And they wondered, what is it you hate most? And they probably thought tragedies and wars and being away from your family for 6 months at a time, covering things out in the country. But I said, no, I hate your opinion. And they, and the room went dead. I mean, you want to talk about a complete silence that fell over them, because everybody wants to be heard. Everybody wants their opinion heard. And I said, no, I know how you feel. You feel that I'm disdaining your opinion. What I want to tell you is that your opinion doesn't belong in the news. But I said it was the second thing that I hated most. What's the first thing I hate most? My opinion. My opinion does not belong in your news. My opinion is not fact. What I think about something, what I feel about something, has nothing to do with how you think or feel, and does it inform the way you feel. You should not be influenced because you watch me every night or because I hold a particular position. And then I wake up the day after, the year after, and I turn on news on the national cable level. Then the anchor says something that is factual, that is verifiably factual. You can bank the information because it has evidence behind it. Then they turn to a panel of 4 jerks and say, "What do you think? What do you think?" Now, listen, Al, have I ever in my entire career gone to the scene of a tornado or an earthquake or the Alfred Murrah federal building that was blown up by Timothy McVeigh? Have I gone and found a person on the street and say, "What do you think happened?" What do you no, you do not ask what you think happened. You find someone who knows what happened.
Don, I think I got to go to break, but I think you took me wrong. I was referencing you doing an hour-long. Didn't you do a In the Know or a Good to Know segment back in the day that you, it was
absolutely
just, here's the positivity of Minnesota. That's all I meant. A story about, I didn't mean you throwing your opinion out.
I'll explain that when we come back.
On the other side. Thank you, Don.
You need a friend at the Capitol who knows how to get things done.
And you're in luck, because that's exactly who we are, your friends at the Capitol, and we deliver results.
At Momentum Advocacy, we bring decades of experience in lobbying, public affairs, and crisis communications.
From local nonprofits to national corporations, we help you move policy, manage your media, and make your voice heard.
We're not just seasoned pros, we're essential partners.
Momentum Advocacy, your friends at the Capitol. Learn more at momentum-advocacy.com.
Tired of one-sided media and divisive noise drowning out your conservative values? Take back the conversation with Braver Angels. Join a grassroots movement to restore civility and find common ground without compromising your principles. As a conservative, your voice matters. Share your perspective on issues like immigration and public health in red-blue workshops and help rebuild trust in our great nation. Be a leader in depolarizing America. Sign up for free at mn.braverangels.org. Braver Angels, where conservatives, liberals, and independents unite for a stronger republic.
As in alligator. L also in alligator. But it's not alligator. It's the Al Travis Show.
Lucky to have him on with us, Don Shelby. Mr. Shelby, I guess what I was thinking, I don't know how Rip Coachella made any money. You make an hour-long movie, you pay to put it on, there are no commercials. I don't know, math-wise, I don't know how you make money doing it. But I do think when I look at Don Shelby's in the know, good to know segments, I would pay to watch that. An hour long, the cool things that Don Shelby thinks Minnesota works, you could put ads in that. You can make money in that in the old-fashioned way, and it doesn't have to be your opinion. Well, I guess it'd be your opinion. It's good that you know this. I love those segments back in the day, sir. It stuck with me, and I don't know how long ago that was. 20 years ago.
I did it for 10 years, and I thought it was, when it was presented to me, I would go to budget meetings, newsroom meetings, and as we were lining up the show, and I would view some of the news stories and some of the approaches and say, well, you left out this fact. It would be good for the people to know this fact. You ought to put that in the piece. And the news director one time said, why don't we cut a minute out of the 10 o'clock show, and you find these facts that are missing from the discussion and put them in. So a lot of people said that it was commentary. It was, but somebody tried to give me a award for editorialism, and I turned it down because it wasn't editorialism.
It's just the facts.
I was trying to introduce a fact. So what was good to know, it's good to know this fact. And it was a verifiable fact, Al. It wasn't my opinion. I wasn't saying, I think we should, and if it came off that way, I apologize to anyone who watched it. But I would introduce a fact that was not fully understood. And as an example, I know EVs, for instance, have become very, very politicized, which is odd to me, particularly among conservatives, because I come from a conservative household. I come from a Republican household. That if you could save money, then you did. If you could find a way to save money, you would do that.
Definition of a conservative. And
so I determined that it'd be better to pay 23 cents per gallon than $2.50 per gallon. I determined that. That was not my opinion. These were the facts. That when you do a barrel equivalent on electricity versus gasoline, and so I did a thing and said I bought a Japanese vehicle, and I apologized. Because it was the only not EV, it was the only hybrid out there at that time. But I apologized for that. And I said, but the reason is there are no American-made EVs.
Yeah.
And next year it came out. They had one, and then I bought one, and then did that. And good to know.
Don, I gotta fly. We're out of time. Appreciate you. Right up against a hard break. We'll do it again.
Oh man, that time
it goes quick. Don Shelby on the Al Travis Show.
Thank you very much, Al. Thank you to your listeners.